Okay, I believe I should be. Yeah, okay, great. So I'm live now. For those of you who have been patiently awaiting my arrival, sorry for a 2-minute delay. Looks like I have two concurrent viewers. Thank you for the viewers that are out there. Just know that for this particular. Uh-oh, let me pause that. Okay. Yeah. So this is new to me. So this is a my very first live stream event that I'm going live to the general public versus our paid subscribers to our CMCC members only channel. So this is more for public content, consumption. However, in order to communicate with me, you will have to be a subscriber, and I'll dive more into that today, but or tonight, I should say. But what we'll be doing tonight, I'm planning to be available for an hour or so, in order to provide you guys with some Q&A as it relates to DLA discussions. So my plan is to have this be at least a weekly event initially to see how the general subscribership enjoys engaging with me via comments. And again, these are very general discussions where I'll basically allow you guys to submit some Q&A in the chat, and then I'll basically take a look at some of those questions. And if some of those questions I could field, I'll go ahead and field it, or direct you to other resources. But without any further ado, welcome for the 3 concurrent viewers that are in the building. Again, make sure you click the subscribe button and the like button. That way, it kind of stokes the YouTube algorithm to kind of get the message out there that the DLA Guru is in the building. So I do have a brief presentation that I like to put together just to give you some hacks and some little information about the DLA that might assist you on your journey. And then I'll open it up for a little Q&A, and it's basically just kind of back and forth. We'll just see how this flows. So looks like we have at least 2 or 3 concurrent viewers in the building. Please engage with me. I see Rags and Fitness. Good to see you as well. Thank you for joining us tonight on this Sunday night. I know it's a lot of NFL football today, and I think there are a couple of games still going on tonight. So this is a great example of your your ability to put away all the distractions and focus in on being involved with government contracting by way of the Defense Logistics Agency. So for those of you that are in the building, you probably know who I am, but for those of you that may be new to my content, my name is Kiwi Hendricks. And I'm better known as the DLA Guru. The reason why folks know me as the DLA Guru, because I've been servicing the Department of Defense by way of the DLA for the past 20 years. And I have done a lot, skipped my knee a lot in order to learn what not to do. And I thought that my channel would be a great platform to assist those of you who are new to government contracting and who are new to the DLA, or maybe even be seasoned with government contracting and have done some work with the DLA and are just trying to find different ways to scale your business, to do more business with the DLA, or just basically understand the DLA at a higher level than what the DLA offers. Because those of you who have done business with the DLA know it's not really easy to get information from the DLA because, they are a government agency, mainly with the Department of Defense, and they need to protect a lot of stuff, so getting information is not always easy. So it's a great opportunity for me to shed some light on my 20 years of experience in working with the DLA, that I may be able to empower those businesses to be successful as well when working with the DLA. Again, my time tonight, it's 7:36, so my plan is to end this around 8:30, but it all depends on the kind of conversations. It's sort of like the audience. If you guys are engaged with me and asking a lot of questions, hey, I can extend my time because I got a little time for you guys tonight. This is my very first live stream ever as it relates to just talking to the general public. And again, if you want to engage with me, you'll have to hit the subscribe button and the like button. And that will permit you, at least that's the way I got the settings, permit you to submit a comment in the comment section that I should be able to receive here. And from there, I'll be able to field questions and that kind of thing, and we'll move forward. So without any further ado, I have a brief presentation that I'd like to share with you. So let me shift my screen around here, change the layout, do the presentation, share screen. I'm still kind of learning how to do this this YouTube live stream, so bear with me for those of you that are you know, are aware of my content, but are maybe new to my channel and things like that. Just bear with me. My motto is I'm building it as I fly it. So again, bear with me and pardon my dust as I try to flex my YouTube creator muscle. All right, but yeah. So who I am, who am I should say. I am Kiwi Hendricks, U.S. government sales manager with the National Material Supply Company. I'm also, again, known as the DLA Guru. And I keep talking about subscribe. And I say that because you wouldn't believe how many views are of my content. I think we have somewhat like 60,000 views or something like that of the videos in my catalog. And, and for those of you who have subscribed and support this channel in that way, thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't have, gotten this far without you guys just hitting the subscribe button and showing me that you appreciate all the hard work that I'm putting into trying to empower those of you who are receiving the content. And for those of you who are just kind of receiving it and not hitting the subscribe button, it's really important to those of us who are on YouTube, who are creators, especially if you value my videos and you see the work in the editing and the content and coming up with things that I think could help you. Hitting that subscribe button means a ton to me. So you'll hear me talking a lot about that. You'll see I got the nice little hit the subscribe button t-shirt and things of that nature. I got the little decal here in the corner, and you'll hear me talk a lot about that. So that's just, how we, I guess, pay the bills as it relates to building the channel. Now, next thing I want to talk a little bit about is, again, subscribe. So, yeah, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and the share button, and push this to at least 2 or 3 other business owners that you guys may know who may not be aware of who the DLA is, just to kind of get the word out. Because I kind of believe that the reason why, there aren't more folks involved with the DLA is because no one knows who the DLA is. So even if folks are like, Googling or trying to search for new business opportunities, they may be bypassing my content as well as other content creators in the space because they don't know who the DLA is. So if you know any entrepreneurs in your family, friends or family, push this type of video content to them. Just, hey, take a look at this guy, what he's talking about, because you never know where it can take one of your loved ones as it relates to getting the word out and just kind of having this thing spread by word of mouth. I think that could definitely assist a lot of small businesses who are not aware of, from a government contracting perspective, doing business with the DLA. So that's a little bit of housekeeping that I just threw out there. The agenda for tonight, my subscriber, I call it the subscriber live stream agenda because you have to be a subscriber to get engaged with me. But look, I got a comment already down there. Submitted a few RFQs. Okay, I'll get to you in a second. Racks and Fitness, fantastic, and I'll make sure that I reach a comment in a second. But a couple of things that I wanted to talk a little bit about. There's a lot of research that I've been doing online, just kind of seeing what other content creators are talking about, like what is the buzz behind government contracting. And I see on Facebook in particular a lot of folks who are really happy about gaining the cage code. And this is more on just general government contracting. There's these posts, hey, I got my cage code, party over here kind of thing. And that is fantastic because it's not an easy thing to get the UEI and your cage code. They have you jump a lot. The federal government has a lot of small businesses jumping through a lot of different hoops in order to, get the illustrious UEI and cage code. But the thing is, after you have, that information, after you get those codes and those numbers, what does that mean? What's next? Of course, everyone wants to get a piece of the federal government contracting, pie and be a part of this industry to support, the federal government because they spend, I think President Biden signed a $1.5 trillion spending bill, this year well, the fiscal year ended in September. However, that's not going to shrink. That's only going to get larger for fiscal year 2024. So being positioned with the UI and cage code is great. But my thought is, what I'd like to interject in this, with this is, once you have your cage code, what do you do next? DLA DIBs. That's next. You want to make sure that you go to DIBS, which stands for the DLA's Internet Bid Board System, and you want to set your company up and get registered for DIBS. And what I want to show you on screen is what the DIBS website looks like. So when you log on to DIBS, and at the end of this, I'll put this in the description of this particular video. So when you do the replay, you'll have these hyperlinks in the description of this video. But what DIBS is the DLA's. This is the gateway to how you do business with the DLA. And of course, you get the soldier that says, "Hey, you can't proceed," because I've had that page just up and running for a while. But yeah, so that soldier that you just saw, you'll see that a lot if you get timed out. Literally just logging onto the DIBS website and not interacting or clicking any buttons on the site. The website, the cybersecurity software that powers the website will literally time you out where you can't click anything until you refresh your browser. This is how serious it is doing business with the DLA. They are basically protecting this firewall from all the government information that's behind the DIBS website as it relates to supplies that the warfighter needs. So that's just indicative to how important it is for you as small business owners to have your T's crossed, your I's dotted as it relates to your paperwork and your registration with your LLCs or your INCs, or however you're setting your companies up in order to actively work with the DLA. It's serious business. This is not a joke. This is not Amazon by any stretch of the imagination. This is the U.S. military. And so just know that when you're moving in this direction to get registered to do business with DIBS or with the DLA, that you want to have all your T's crossed, I's dotted. You want to make sure that everything is above water, because you don't want to get yourself entangled with the United States military, because it's just not a game. This is national security. This is how we're supporting our soldiers globally to protect and to make sure that we here in the United States are safe. All right, so keep that in mind. But once you are able to log onto the homepage of DIBS, and what you're seeing on screens, you literally want to go through the prompts here and do what's called vendor registration. And again, this is all for your new vendors that have your cage code and your UI, and you're ready to say, what's next. And so I highly recommend that you guys go through this process. Now, again, it's also a difficult process. I've heard from a lot of student clients that engage with me who have taken my MasterClass and things of that nature, that they're having some difficulty. Well, I shouldn't say difficulty, but it takes some time. I mean, you could be looking upwards of 4 to 8 weeks after you click the vendor registration button and answer all the questions in order to get officially registered to do business with the DLA. So haste, they say haste makes waste, but in this case, you want to be hasteful, because time is of the essence. And if you're a small business, to get your piece of the pie, this is where you go first in order to get set up, to get your access, your username and password to get logged onto DIBS. All right, so that's what I recommend as the first step. Let's see here. The next thing that I want to talk about was Unison Marketplace. And there are there's a lot of information that's floating around about how to get set up with Unison Marketplace. Our company does business with Unison as well. And I will tell you that, none of federal contracting, never get it twisted. Federal contracting is not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of competition in certain aspects of federal contracting as it relates to products. And again, I should have prefaced this, that once you have your cage code, if you want to get into products, the DLA DIBS bid board system is where you would start, because it's very product centric as it relates to DIBS. Unison Marketplace is also very product centric. You can sell all types of products, from food and supplies to all branches of the federal government, not just the DoD. But I mean, you're talking about the Department of Justice. You're talking about the Social Security Office. You're talking about, the Navy directly. I mean, again, that's DoD, but you're the Department of Forestry, the Department of Interior, you name it, they're on Unison Marketplace. Those buyers are looking to work with vendors through this platform. And the way that you log on to Unison Marketplace, again, they have a website. I'll put the link to both DIBBS and Unison Marketplace in the description below, and you can kind of get it. And you can get it at the. Well, you know what? I'll throw it in the chat, believe it or not. So I can do that and make that a little easy for everybody. All right, so that's DLA in the chat. And I'm also going to put Unison Marketplace for those of you who are not familiar with these platforms in the chat there. Unison Marketplace, we've registered our company many years ago, so I don't recall all the steps because I'm not the Unison guru, I'm the DLA guru. But with Unison, you go here on this site, and of course, there's a registration. It says something about cookies. We'll say no. But yeah, you go here and you click the register button in the upper right-hand corner. It's a little larger for you. And then you go through, basically, you'll need a UEI and a cage code, I imagine, in order to get set up for the Unison Marketplace. I don't know if there's a lot of information as it relates to content creators that talk extensively or exclusively about Unison Marketplace. But if there are some, feel free to drop that in the chat for other subscribers that may, not know much about other content creators. I have no problems with, pushing other content creators as it relates to assisting government contractors with information. So if you guys do know of some channels that may be out there, I'm not really aware of any channels that talk extensively or exclusively about Unison Marketplace. But it's definitely a great place to kind of get involved and get your company set up and registered and to get involved. So that's two sources that I think are low-hanging fruit as it relates to what do you do after you achieve a cage code. And of course, we all know about sam.gov. Sam.gov is both product and services, but I think sam.gov would be more on the service side. In my opinion, you're going to get probably the lion's share of contracting opportunities will be through sam.gov. Our company doesn't do a whole lot of business through the sam.gov marketplace. Me personally, I believe a lot of times when solicitations are posted on SAM, that those agencies that have posted it, those contracting officers, they pretty much have already done the market research surveys, and they kind of already have a quorum of vendors that they have already vetted for those opportunities. So if you're just new and picking up, a solicitation on SAM, have all means, if you have the ability to bid it. But I just think that the process by which the government does acquisitions through SAM, it really starts from a sources sought perspective. And so, our company will basically use sam.gov in order to pursue sources sought. That way we can position ourselves with our cage code and things, with our capability statement to allow those contract officers to put us on their bidder list. And so that it's just a way of, that's how we use SAM. But, we don't do a lot of business with sam.gov because, again, it's not the easiest marketplace in order to gain federal opportunities. At least my experience, it's more of a teaming effect. You have to have some fairly robust teams in order to go after the really large contracts that are on sam.gov. But that's just my 2 cents. I won't speak on that. There are a lot of content creators that are out there that can kind of help you guys along the way. And last but not least, we have the DLA Contracting Services Office. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that today because I do get a lot of student clients asking me about services. How can we do services with the DLA? Because the DLA is not just all about products. There is a service aspect to the DLA. And there is a flyer that was generated by the DLA that we have, or that I have, I should say. And on screen is the PDF of this flyer. And it's a 2-page flyer, and it's a pretty awesome flyer. And then let me zoom in a little bit on it because they talk about this contracting office that's based out of DLA headquarters in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. So the acronym is DSCO, which stands for the DLA's Contracting Services Office. And this particular flyer came from their Office of Small Business Programs, where they kind of break down what the DCSO is responsible for. So again, if you are small businesses that are into IT services, there's also a DoD Fed Mall, which our company actually does have a Fed Mall contract. And so we have products. I think we have about 4,000 products or something like that on the DoD Fed Mall through the Ability One program. So we support the federal government through DoD Fed Mall. I probably will be doing some kind of masterclass in the future about DoD Fed Mall, because it's not easy to get involved with DoD Fed Mall. But that's going to be further down the line. I think for new student clients, I think just getting access to DIBs and understanding how to compete on DIBs is probably, a lot better, from a just energy, to spend your energy going after DLA contracts than FedMall, in my opinion. But and then there's audit readiness, IT hardware, IT software, printers and copiers, and others. So again, our company is more product centric versus service centric. So I don't have a lot of information as it relates to, contracts that we've been awarded internally as a company with the DLA through the DCSO. But I thought this was a great pamphlet to share with you guys, and how you can gain access to this pamphlet. I pinned in the comment section a link that allows you to register for our DLA listserv. So you got to give me a little something to get a little something in this case, in this regard. But I mean, it's all free. But all you do is submit your email, and you're basically opting in to our newsletter. And when you opt in, you'll get a link that's emailed back to you, where you can download this particular document that I think is fantastic for your library. But when you go through it, it talks a little bit about all the areas that you can find where DCSO cares about. And so they're telling you, if you go on sam.gov, if you guys are SAM vendors, that these are the DODACs that you can search SAM for to see any opportunities that DSCO, these particular offices, or these commands within DSCO, where they may have service opportunities for you to research. And you can go on FPDS, put in these DODACs, and kind of see what they are buying. So you can see if you can align your company to some of these DODACs as it relates to DLA service contracts. All right. And so as you scroll down some more, they got some pretty cool hyperlinks in here too. They talk about GSA schedules. The DLA, of course, is it works directly with the GSA as it relates to that. And then they have some fairly large, robust, what they call government-wide acquisition contracts that are out there. If you guys are familiar with Seaport or the 8A Stars 3, Vets 2, Alliant 2, and so forth and so on. These are some of those contracting vehicles that are already in place, where there still may be opportunities for small businesses to get involved. Again, I can't really speak to that, but DSCO, Office of Small Business Programs, can definitely assist you guys with how to gain more information of how to get involved, and information about those contracting vehicles, who the prime vendors are, and who the points of contacts are with those prime vendors, where you may be able to reach out to them as a small business to go after some subcontracting opportunities in support of the DLA. And again, if you have distinctions like, veteran-owned services table with veteran-owned small businesses, your woman-owned business, hub-zone vendors, as well as 8A companies, the DSCO would be a great start for you to start to, have that dialogue of how you guys can get involved with your specialized services for your company. Here we go. These are some of the task orders or the task areas within those contracting vehicles that they talk about in this pamphlet. Here are some of the NAS codes that DCSO cares about. So if you wanted to, understand these NAS codes, and your company has these capabilities, you want to make sure these NAS codes are loaded into your SAM profile, so that that's part of your registration underneath your UEI, so that whenever there's a sources sought, or there are market research surveys that are going out, that you may be privy to receiving that contact from the federal government as it relates to, or from the DCSO as it relates to these NAS codes. And last but not least, it's all about contacts. I have reached out to DCSO in the past regarding some opportunities that our company was just getting a little bit more information about, and they are very responsive. So if you send an email to the DS or DCSO dot small business at DLA.mills, you see on screen, they will definitely respond back to you. You're reaching out to those guys, send them your capability statement, and just see if there's any way that you can align your company with what they're needing. And if you don't get a response timely from them via email, of course, you got some phone numbers there that you can give those guys a call to and reach out. I think someone in my office actually did make a phone call and actually talk to someone. So they do answer their phones because they are located in Fort Belvoir in the headquarters. So they are fairly responsive as it relates to contacting those guys out there. So I just wanted to share that a little bit with you tonight. And hopefully that's some pretty cool information. And again, how you can gain access to this particular document for your archives is just check out the comment section. I pinned the link to where you can sign up with our listserv. And by signing up with the listserv, you're opting in to our newsletter. And don't worry, I won't send you a ton of emails and ton of this. It's basically on a need to know basis. Anytime I have great information, as that listserv grows, you'll be privy because it'll be coming to me, coming from me directly to you. So I think it's a great way to stay in contact with yours truly, the DLA Guru. All right, cool. So let's get into some comments here. All right, so I see Rags and Fitness. Thanks again for your comment. Stays here. I'll read it aloud. I have submitted a few RFQs. I feel like my issue is finding a supplier to give me a good price. I feel like I need a mentor. Yeah. Hey, fantastic. Yeah. Price is king with the federal government. I mean, that just is not with the DLA. You're going to run into price, availability, past performance, all that stuff with any branch of the federal government you go after, whether it be service contracts on sam.gov, if you're going after Unison Marketplace opportunities, which, they do what's called reverse auctions on the Unison Marketplace. And so you literally put your highest price and your lowest price, and their software just basically, puts all the vendors and vets them all out based on price. It's all about price. And so, the companies that typically do well as it relates to federal contracting are working directly with the OEM. So you're not going through the tiers. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 as it relates to supply chain from the OEM. But if you're able to, work and circumvent that process and get access to work directly and buy direct from the OEM, now keep this in mind. When you're buying direct from the OEM, you're not just buying enough to fulfill that contract. OEMs are looking for companies to inventory products. So to be tier 1 distributors, meaning you need to have warehouse space. You need to buy in bulk because that's how the OEM makes money, right? And so you just got to kind of keep in mind the organizational structure of the supply chain, that if you're just looking to fulfill, contracts, like onesie twosies with the federal government, you're never going to be able to buy direct from the OEM unless it's a small company, a small mom and pop company that you're working with, and you're able to establish a partnership with them, which our company has done that in the past. But you're not going to be doing big numbers. You're going to need, multiple OEMs that you're small mom and pop OEMs that you're working with in order to, have enough business for it to kind of make sense for your company. So then your next step, rags to riches, there is, working with tier 1 distributors. And so those tier 1 distributors are really predicated off of your relationship. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so, like, I recommend being able to get in contact with the folks and putting skin to skin, like shaking hands and going to lunch, the traditional ways of doing business to get people to trust you, because it's really about trust. It's really about them saying, hey, I'm gonna give this guy a break or this gal a break, and it's really about relationships. I mean, the things, if we remember in high school and running for, like office in high school, political office in high school, the person that got the most votes was the person that was liked the most, and things of that nature. Those lessons in life don't go away, so that's really, the way that you work your company into getting the better price points. And then a lot of times too, you know, doing business with those tier one distributors, you don't want to just have one end user that you're working with. You want to have multiple lines of commercial customers, government customers. That way you're doing more numbers that get you higher, deeper discounts, because you're bringing that volume of business to those companies. So, those are some of the ways, a very high level of how you're able to work to get better pricing. And yeah, and mentorship, you mentioned there, you feel like you need a mentor. Yeah, mentors are great. Being able to, have someone like myself or other content creators out there, where if you're running into a little bit of roadblock, or you're running into, some strategy, where you can kind of chime in with someone that has done it and talk, and just kind of have, like, a quasi board of directors where you can field ideas from, and some experience. And so I highly recommend, mentors. And I do offer, not like mentors where, it's kind of a paid mentorship. I'm a contracted consultant, because time is where it's at. But what I do offer is ways for you to connect with me, as it relates to sign up. I have 30-minute sessions and 1-hour sessions where you can work with me direct. And if you're interested, I will also put in the chat my email address. I normally have it on screen, fed.contracting, and I'll put it in the description. You can actually find it in most of the descriptions of my content on YouTube and my catalog of videos, but fed.contracting@nmsupply.com. You can shoot me an email to my email address there, and let me know that you're interested in some contracting consultations. And I'll be sure to reach out to you and show you how you can set up time to talk with me directly to provide some mentorship to you. All right. And let's see here. We got another question in the house here. And by the way, Rags and Riches, Rags and Fitness, if you like that, go ahead and give me a like or a heart or something. Let me know that you kind of like that answer. And that means a lot to me, if I answered your question. All right. So we got Cash Home Buyers, New Jersey. It says, hi there. Can you do a video on how to search for an item in DIBBS, how to look up package info and package the item to send off to the required location? Great question. Great question. Hey, believe it or not, I have more than a video. I have a masterclass that's dedicated exactly to that. And so I spent a lot of time, a lot of energy setting up a masterclass to assist you guys with that type of information. And so instead of just doing a video, because I got plenty of videos on the masterclass, I'll show you on screen here. I do have, and I'll put it in the chat as well. Let's see here. If you weren't aware that I offer masterclasses, here, I'll put this in the chat below. I thought I had it here on screen. Give me a second. Here it is right here. I'll put this in the chat as well. But I do offer fantastic masterclasses that will address exactly that. I have 3 separate masterclasses that I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, just kind of thought it through and did surveys and worked with student clients and pulled together some fairly fantastic, I haven't gotten any negative feedback as it relates to my masterclasses, but I have 3 of them. One is what I call my pre-award masterclass, which you see on screen here is the 8 steps to successful federal supply contract bid submissions to the DLA. This masterclass is action-packed, and keep in mind, I'm always updating the masterclasses as I get new content that I think will support students who have elected. So these masterclasses are good forever. There is no expiration date on them. And so I recently, and for those of you who are not familiar with this, I recently loaded another 2.5-hour video into this particular masterclass. That is a session that I did with the DLA that talked more about DIBs, because I started getting feedback from folks that said, hey, this is great that you're giving us these, software tools that your company uses, but we still kind of want to know a little bit more about DIBs. And there isn't a lot of information that's out there. The DLA does offer that information. So I've been able to capture some great content, and I put that in this particular masterclass that's accessible for those of you who elect to take the masterclass, that gives you a deeper dive coming straight from the DLA as to how you use DIBs. Now, keep in mind, when you go through these 2.5 hours, you're going to see just how robust and how complicated DIBs can be. And so I also, in this masterclass, talk a lot about SCI Global. And for those of you who have seen some of my other videos that are out there, it's a third-party software that we utilize in order to assist our company, as well as other student clients who have taken, who've done the free trial and elected for a subscription to the service that allows them to manage all of the vast array of DLA solicitations and make more sense of it. And it basically helps your company to scale because you're able to manage the information. DIBS doesn't really give you that ability without some assistance. And so the masterclass talks a lot about that. So hopefully, Cash Home Buyers New Jersey, that answered your question as it relates to how you can get more information. And I also have a post-award masterclass. And that post-award masterclass, which I don't have it up on screen here, but you can find it in this link that I put in the chat. The post-award masterclass teaches you everything as it relates to how to decipher the codes in your DLA award. So how you can package, label, how you ship, and how you invoice and close out your contract, because you need training on how to do that effectively so that you don't get jammed up and check the wrong box or do something wrong where you don't get paid timely. And that again links back to the original question from Rags and Fitness, of how you can protect or grow your business with your vendor base, because people do business with they know, like, and trust. And trust means you can pay us is where the trust is. And so making sure that you're able to pay timely, that way, when you're, because you're the prime contractor when you DLA awards. So you need to understand exactly how to make sure that there is no hiccup on the backside of after you get a contract of the cash flow, the money being paid to you so that your company can get paid so you can pay your vendors timely to keep the ball rolling. Everybody knows who are small business owners, doing business with the federal government or just doing business in general is all about cash flow. So I highly recommend that you don't try to circumvent or cut corners and try to figure it out on your own, because again, you're doing business with the DLA and the Department of Defense. So you want to make sure you understand what you're doing. And so master classes like what I've created and other content creators are out there, these are resources for you to empower your companies to do well. And check the feedback on my master classes. You'll see there are folks that have taken it and they've given us 5-star. So I put a lot of energy into it. I think the pre-award master class, I think it's probably 9 hours worth of content, and it's very specific and dedicated to the business. There isn't fluff. It's really very technical. I decided to do these live streams in order to kind of give more of a personality and, more of, the people side of it. But my masterclass are strictly business. And so you won't waste your time in investing in those classes and those resources to empower you for success. Okay, great. So let me go down some more. Oh, all right. There was a question by I. What topics do you cover? Hopefully that answers some of the question there. But once you click on the hyperlink or go to the site where I have the master classes. I didn't talk about the third class. There's a third class. It's the 4 steps to enhance JCP certification. That's more if you want to get into manufactured products. And to answer your question, or double I there, or quadruple I, those master classes have intro videos that are, they're free videos that kind of give you the outline of each of the master classes. So there's a video and there's also a written description of what you get in those master classes, so that you'll know what you're getting yourself involved in before you actually secure a seat within those classes. Hopefully that answers that question there. And what is the name of the software? The name of the software, the third-party software, is called SCI Global. And if you can, what you should do there is send me an email to my fed.contracting@nmsupply.com. That will, I wonder, can you pin more than one thing at a time? Let me see if can we pin multiple things? No. If I pin this, it'll replace the other pinned. I want to keep the way you can access the DCSO pamphlet pinned. But yeah, just check in the comments there. But I put my email address, quadruple I, for you to send me an email, and I can send you more information on how you can get involved with SEI Global. And again, with SEI Global, if you register for it, you'll get a discount code that allows you a 10%. I think it's a 10% coupon that you'll get. And you'll also get training with me, yours truly, the DLA Guru, a one-on-one training for like 30 minutes on how to use the software. It's a fantastic software. So yeah, just reach out to me and I'll get you more information as it relates to how to get involved with SEI Global. And let's see, Rags and Fitness. Speaking on the different tiers of vendors, what would Grainger be considered? I have submitted RFQs to that wanted Grainger products. The past contract price looks a lot. I can't say looks a lot that I can get from Grainger. Okay, yeah. So Grainger will be considered a tier one. So if you kind of think about this, tier one is basically like the stepping stones. Like you have the OEM, you got tier one right below, tier two right below that. So if you're buying from Grainger, you would be recognized as a tier two distributor. All right, Grainger, because they are a billion-dollar company. I mean, Grainger has offices all over the world. I used to work in Kuwait. They actually have a facility in Kuwait. So Grainger is just a huge company that they're able, based on economies of scale, and they move so much product, and their brand is so well known that they have the ability to buy direct from the OEMs. Like the DuPonts of the world, the 3Ms of the world, those types of manufacturers, they buy direct, all right, because they buy and they have warehouses. They store the stuff in their warehouses. Grainger.com is a heck of a website where you can get next day shipping and things like that. So when you're buying from Grainger, Rags and Fitness, it really is going to be a function of your relationship building with your local office. Not exactly sure where you're located in the country, but I highly recommend that you find your local Grainger office in your backyard and you try to work it through the federal government aspects of their company, because they have divisions that work directly, work strictly with federal contractors, and then working with their district manager and district sales managers and that type of team to get in, and going to lunch with those guys if they allow it. I know back in the day when we used to work with Grainger, there was a lot of, going to lunch and things like that. But again, that was like the 90s and things like that. So I don't know if Grainger is still set up that way, but I would imagine that they haven't changed that type of business model because they have local branch offices. Hopefully that answers that question. Let's see here. Got any more questions? Anything that I missed? Okay, good. And thank you, Rags and Fitness. Thanks for the comment about the great info. Yeah, feel free. Again, if those of you who, it looks like there are 8 viewers of the video right now. So if you have just any type of comment that relates to, government contracting, the DLA, what I know about Unison or sam.gov, feel free to drop that comment in there. If you're new to the federal government contracting space, and I'll do my best to field that question. And in order to submit a question, you have to make sure you click the subscribe button. That opens it up to that opens you to the chat when you hit the subscribe button there. Let's see, any more questions? Yeah, I don't have anything else on my presentation to present to you guys. So now it's really about the Q&A aspects of tonight. And it's 8:15, so I got about another 10 minutes or so in here as promised to answer questions, or 10 or 15 minutes that you guys may have. I could go a little longer, depends on if you guys give me some pretty cool questions that are very general. I don't want to get into oh yeah, by the way, if you guys are interested in being part of my CMCC, that is the Channel Members Command Center. I think right now, last I checked, I think we have like 28 members in it, and you have to subscribe at the commander level in order to have access to me directly, where we go. It's like you get invited into StreamYard, and we can talk real solicitations. We can talk national stock numbers. We can talk, it's more of a classroom setting where it's not just chat. I can literally see you, hear you, talk to you, and we can connect on that level. Highly recommend you guys consider joining the CMCC. We do bi-monthly meetings. That's every 2 weeks, typically on Saturday for 2 hours, where I'll sit back and kind of talk with you guys as it relates to what's keeping you up at night, and helping to empower your businesses to be more successful with the DLA. Highly recommend it. I can put that in the chat as well, and how you can join the CMC. Again, it's at the commander member level. And I think that is like $25 a month or something like that. It's not a lot of money that you would be spending, but it really, it assists me with my time, so I try to make it where the barriers to entry were really low, and it's a good, get out of jail free card in case you get a contract or you get, a traceability request and you really don't know how to answer it. You'll have access to me at least bi-monthly to work with me direct if you want to circumvent, doing a direct one-on-one contracted consult. Again, it's more of a classroom setting, so you're sharing information that may be potentially proprietary to your business, but it's just a public platform, a live stream that you can get, and you're working with other members. But if you want more one-on-one, offline, it's just myself and you. That's where you can request a contracted consult with me, as I talked about earlier in this stream. Okay, let's see here. We have another comment. Priscilla, thanks for the comment. It says, what common challenges do your new clients have with government contracts? Oh, that's a great question. Common challenges is not having enough information, information about, getting involved, working their contracts, how to basically interpret the military's codes as it relates to packaging codes, how to navigate the different commands that the DLA is comprised of. There are 9 commands, 7 of them which are more product-based, and the other 2 are service-based. So that's typically for newcomers to the DLA. Those are those types of questions. And hey, by all means, guys, great questions coming in, and thank you again for the subscribership. But I definitely appreciate, any kind of, if you want to super chat me or something like that, that's pretty cool. I've never received a super chat, and I've always wanted to see what that feels like to get a super chat. So if you guys want to send me a super chat, whatever you want to throw at me for the content, just to show your appreciation. Again, it's reciprocal. It's like, if you guys are showing me that you appreciate it, and the way you can show me that you appreciate it is by subscribing, getting involved, and supporting everything that I'm trying to do, because from there I can just grow it bigger, and just spend more time with it, because I try to cut out time in my busy life in order to help you guys as best I can. For those of you, who value my content, or understand, or want to tap into my knowledge base, anything you guys can do to assist me, to show the love, I really, really appreciate it. All right, cool. So let's see here. Another question. Do I need past performance to do business with the DLA? Can I be a subcontractor to get past performance from prime contractors? What can I find prime contractors? Hey, that's a great question. And the best answer to that is no, you don't need past performance. And so that's why the DLA is probably one of the best kept secrets as it relates to federal contracting, because as you probably have found on sam.gov, when you're going through those RFPs, they always talk about past performance. They want to see past performance, and they want to see receipts. They want to have points of contact within, other government contracting agencies. I think you can provide them with commercial past performance, but I think they really care about federal past performance more than anything. But with the DLA, when you're going after DIBs, product solicitations, the thing that the DLA cares about is best price, best availability. That's what they care about. Now, as time goes on and you get more involved with DLA, they do have a delivery rating. So you have what's called a scorecard, that you have to make sure that you protect. And so the DLA does care about on-time delivery. They do care about quality of your packaging. And so if you get, late deliveries, or you get, what's called a quality notification, meaning that you didn't label package something correctly, it can affect your rating. And when your rating gets affected, then contracting officers have the ability to bypass awarding your company because they just don't have the confidence that you will deliver on time, or or will deliver based within the terms and conditions of the contract. So that's just yet another deep dive on those types of things. But again, just making sure that you bid on contracts which you in fact can deliver on time. Like whatever you tell the DLA, if you tell them it's going to take you 60 days to deliver it in 59 days. Don't deliver it in 61 days. That really that can affect your rating with the DLA. And making sure that you understand exactly how the DLA wants things labeled and packaged is very important. And the reason why packaging is important, because you never know where that particular commodity will be going. Some of those commodities go on naval ships, and guess what? There's salt in the air. There's like the corrosive salt from the sea can affect certain products. And so the DLA will need it to be packaged a certain way to protect it, to make sure that the shelf life doesn't get affected while those commodities are on naval ships. Or it may be something that's going in the air. If I was flying on, on one of the cargo planes. And so, air pressure may pop things and break things and things of that nature. So, just making sure you're adhering to the packaging requirements is really important as it relates to doing business with the DLA as well. Let's see here. We got another question. Oh, I got my first super chat. Yes. Thank you for the first super chat. That's pretty awesome, man. I mean, literally, I've been doing this for about a year, and I've never went live in order to do super chats or things like that. So, man, you're going down the history, Rags and Fitness, man. That's awesome. Thank you for that. My very first one. And hopefully more to come as the channel continues to grow, and I get a little bit more savvy of how to work all these different buttons and nuances and things, and get more viewers in the building and get more people engaged and involved. But hey, man, thank you, man. That means a ton to me. That actually made my evening. This whole hour that I'm spending with you guys is worth it, so awesome. And hey, by the way, and the Chiefs won tonight. Yes, the Chiefs, go Chiefs. And so that's a pretty good Sunday night. I didn't actually talk about Thanksgiving, so hopefully everyone had pretty good Thanksgiving. I was actually born in Little Rock, Arkansas. So my family and I, we actually drove down to Little Rock, and we have a family farm in England, Arkansas. So we were down there getting all the trimmings and dressing and turkey and stuff, and had a great time in Little Rock. And I'm back here in Dallas now. So hopefully you guys were able to see your friends and family and loved ones and whatnot, and were able to give thanks for, hey man, just being here yet another year, right? And then getting empowered and moving forward to see what you can do and get your piece of the federal government pie. So this is what we're all about. All right, but anyway, thanks again, Rags and Fitness, man. I really appreciate that. Cool. And see, let's see, what area does the DLA need the most help? That's an interesting question. There's 9 commands. I would say, all of them. It's the warfighter. So those DLA solicitations that are out there, keep in mind the DLA awards 10,000 supply contracts every day. So the DLA never sleeps. Like that internet bid board system, you can bid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the contract awards, they award contracts on Saturday and Sundays. It's rolling, and so there's always a need to support the warfighter because the U.S. government has the largest, the strongest, and the mightiest military on earth. And if you guys think about the ancient Roman civilizations and all the different America, our military is nothing to be messed with. And so and they need vendors like you and I to support them. So Priscilla, hopefully that answers your question. Get involved, and it's getting involved based on what you know and what you have access to. And I talk a lot about that in my master classes and a lot of my training with my student clients. So if you guys, just take that step to get more engaged with me, you'll learn a ton, and you'll be able to hit the ground running as it relates to accessing the 20 years of my experience that's in between my ears here, as well as working with my team to help give you some guidance on how you guys can hit the ground running. Now, I can't say you're going to learn everything that I've learned in 20 years by just taking my master classes, but it's going to at least shave off 5 years. I'm almost willing to I shouldn't say guarantee, I can't guarantee it, but I'm willing to bet that my master classes are so involved with information about hacks and the way that you move around it that you're going to save a minimum of 5 years of time in trying to figure it out on your own. All right. And my YouTube video catalog is fairly robust. I pull a lot of information out there to kind of get you guys excited, but it's really not the end all be all to how you learn how to do this. My master classes are designed to give you the real toolage, and not only just the master class, but then the engagement with me by graduating from the master classes I think is what's going to give you the biggest hack as it relates to, getting you hitting the ground running. So just FYI on that. Let's see here. Can you bid on contracts that are past the due date? Yes, you can. All right. So you can bid on contracts past the due date as long as those contracts are available and still open for bid on DIBs. That means you can bid on them. A lot of times when the due date has expired, it's because either the pricing didn't come in favorable to the DLA, especially for those automated awards. And so the DLA just extends the open date without actually updating the due date to allow vendors to come in. And a lot of times, if you bid on contracts, especially automated awards past the due date, and you have a more favorable price, you'll get an instant award because the software the server is just waiting on that price that meets the DLA's threshold of what they consider a fair price for that particular commodity. So yeah, that's always a good sign if you find them that are still open past the due date. Now, that's one way. Now, some other ways is because the contracting officer may be on vacation or something of that nature, right? And so they just haven't gotten back to it, or they just have a fairly robust workload and they just haven't gotten to awarding that contract. And so that might be some of the reasons why those contracts are still open, especially if they are non-automated awards. All right. So, but the net of it is, if you find solicitations that are still open on DIBs past the due date, bid. Right. So, and that's another thing about the DLA. Bid. You'll find other content creators talking about sam.gov. Hey, you got to bid to win. So just constantly bid, whenever you can bid, have it become part of your business where you are bidding, just get comfortable with bidding. And also don't get too connected to the emotion of it. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this when you go and you dream up some lottery numbers, right? And you go and like the jackpot is, $50 million or something, or whatever, $500 million. And you're like, okay, this is going to be the number. And you go Quick Trip or wherever you may go to buy your tickets. And so, you spend $20 on these tickets, and then, you go to sleep, and the next day you're waiting and you don't hit. There's a feeling in you that goes, oh man, that's that emotional feeling, which, you will experience that with the DLA. You're going to find bidding where you think you have a great price, all this good stuff, and you don't win. But guess what? That contract wasn't for you. So keep bidding. Don't give up. Keep going. And the contracts they're designed or aligned with your company, and there's a spiritual aspect of it. When it's aligned for you, it will come. Right. And all those past contracts that you bid on that you didn't win, the one that you win, you'll make 20 grand. It's just like that, so just bid often. That's my suggestion there. Now here, let's see. I don't mind, especially when great info. Okay. All right. Saw that. All right. Rags and Fitness. I got your message there. Yeah, man. Yeah. And let's see. What are the 9 commands that you mentioned? Yeah, the 9 commands. Hey, I have a video in my catalog. I think it's my last video that I put out in my catalog that talks about a lot. It's a deep dive. I think it was a Gov brief. Yeah, I think it's the Gov brief video. It's like an hour and a half long video that does a fairly high level overview of the 9 commands. I was a guest speaker on a podcast called Gov Brief by a gentleman by the name of Dave Lowe. And I recommend Quadruple I that you take a look at that video, and that'll answer those questions there for you. and say, are there any companies that you can recommend for factoring the contracts? Um, this particular live stream isn't really talking about factoring and things. I don't really recommend factoring personally. I think that's just like hard money loans trying to buy real estate or something like that. I'm not an advocate of factoring, so I can't really shed too much light on that at all. Cool beans, cool beans. But it is now 8:32. I think, yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I'm parched. And again, Rags and Fitness, man, thanks again for the super chat. That's fantastic. I really appreciate it. And I see we had 8 likes and 9 viewers. So thank you again for the likes, guys. That's showing a little love to me. I saw some of the hearts kind of going up there. My plan is to try to go live at least, once a week. I haven't quite figured out what day of the week it will be, but Sundays might be good. I'm not so sure yet, but just know that I will be doing more of this to try to get more topics and things to get you guys more engaged, to get the subscribership up, and to get you guys more engaged and spreading the word about the DLA. So thanks again for joining. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedules on Sunday night to get a little knowledge. And, again, this video will be in the replay, so you guys can feel free to watch it again if you might have missed the first part of it, because I gave some pretty good information in the first part of the video. And I will definitely update the description with some of the links that I talked about tonight too, so you'll always have access to this in my YouTube catalog. And hopefully you guys take the plunge and invest in yourself, invest in my masterclasses, because it's a definite, it's very valuable knowledge if you're serious about doing business with the DLA. I'm kind of opening it up, being very transparent, and letting you guys know how I've been kind of working this for quite some time. So anyway, I just want to leave you guys with that. And thanks again for your support. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the top. All right, so take care.